Hello everybody, I got a request through yesterday to make a scrolling web page, so I thought I'd make one and then post a video on my website and to YouTube to show you all how to do it. Now I'm not sure how well this effect will show on my screen capture software, but the effect is as smooth as any web page you'll see on the internet. Okay, so this is the scrolling web page tutorial. Okay, now I'm going to put the Dreamweaver exercise files on my website, dreamweavertutorial.co.uk, but what you'll get is a folder called scrolling page. Now I'm going to give you the finished version of this as well, but here's the starter files for the tutorial. You'll get some lorem ipsum text in a text document which you can paste into the web page. And there'll be two images. One's a background, which is the funky green felt, and one is to make up the page, which is the blue wallpaper. And there'll be an empty CSS folder. There's nothing in it because we're going to create the CSS document. Now if you're watching this video in YouTube, click on the link in the sidebar and that will take you directly to my website. While you're there, you can fill in your name and an email address for the newsletter. And if you look further down the page, there'll be a recently added pages and tutorial section, and I'll put a link in there. It should say background image tutorial or scrolling web page tutorial. And when you get to the page, just below the video, there will be a link called Download Dreamweaver Exercise Files. Click on that link, and that will start a download in your browser. I've put it into a WinRAR zip file, so if you download the file and then either unpack it or extract it to your desktop and put it into a file called scrolling web page. So when the file's downloaded, if you're in WinRAR, press the extract button and make sure you've got a folder on your desktop to extract it to. It will bring up the extraction path and options, and find the folder and click OK. Right, let's go into Dreamweaver. I'm going to define a new site. If you want to do that, go to Site, New Site, and I'm going to call the site Scrolling Page. And we're going to define a local root folder. Well, that's on the desktop, so just got to find the Scrolling Page folder. Click on that. Click on the Scrolling Page and press Select, and that will add the local root folder. And the default images folder is inside the Scrolling Page folder, so click on that as well. By the way, I'm in the Advanced tab, which is so much easier. Click OK. So if you've done that OK and correctly, you'll find you have a local root folder. You've got the two images and a lorem ipsum text. Right, let's create a brand new HTML page. We'll create a blank HTML page, XHTML 1.0, press create, and when the page opens up, split your screen and we'll go straight into the code. Okay, so I'm going to open up the body tags and I'm going to put a div with an ID of wrapper into it, and after that, inside of that I'm going to put a paragraph tag, an opening paragraph tag and a closing paragraph tag, and we're going to leave it at that. Now that's the only piece of HTML coding we have to do for this whole web page. Later on we're going to paste some text into that paragraph tag. But for now I want you to highlight or put your cursor anywhere inside of the div wrapper, and we're going to create a new CSS document. Okay, so now I've highlighted it, you can see that the div tag's been highlighted. I've pressed on the new CSS rule button and we're going to define a new style sheet. See, it's automatically targeted the wrapper div. Okay, so I'm going to save the CSS file that we're creating into the CSS folder, which you should have as well, and I'm going to call that scrolling page and press save, and that will automatically save that as a CSS document. Press OK, and then we'll go up to the CSS from here and we'll hand code some CSS. Okay, so we'll go inside the wrapper definition which we just created and give ourselves a little bit of room, and we're going to give it a height of 3000 pixels, so that'll make the wrapper div just extend down so we've got enough room to work with on the page. And we're going to give it a width, we'll make it a small width of 500 pixels for the page, and we're going to give a left and right margin. That will center the page in the center of the document. So we're going to go margin dash left colon auto semicolon, and margin dash right colon auto and semicolon after that, and press refresh and you'll see that it has centered it right there. Okay, so far so good. Right, let's go back into the CSS. We'll add a body CSS rule, and what we'll do is we're going to put in the background image. So I'm going to go background dash image colon and browse for the file, and we're going to go to the images folder, which it should automatically target, and we'll select the funky green and just put a semicolon on the end and press refresh. And there you go, it's your granny's wallpaper. Okay, let's go and put the background image in for the web page itself rather than the background. We'll go into the wrapper definition, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put background-image and press colon. That will bring up the automated browse, and we'll click on that, and we're going to find the blue background. Put semicolon on the end and click refresh, and that should bring up the background now. Yep. Okay, well I think that looks quite good. Yep, and we haven't added the scroll effects yet, but we will do in just a few minutes. Now, if any of you are worried about hand coding the CSS, we're doing exactly the same thing you would do if you was going to bring up the dialog box to do it. So if I've selected the wrapper div, you've got the background, you can see the background images there, and that's the same thing that's been typed in on the left hand side. The box category contains the height and width and the margin information, so it does save a lot of time if you hand code the CSS, so get into the habit of doing that. Alright, load up the lorem ipsum text document just by clicking on it, highlight all of the text and copy that, and then we're going to paste that into the paragraph tag. So I'm going to switch back to the source code, put my cursor into the paragraph tag and paste in that text. Press the refresh button and you'll see that the text appears. Okay, we're looking quite good. So let's change the color of the text because it's not looking too good against that blue background. So we'll change it to white. So pound wrapper, and we'll target the paragraph for P, and open and close brackets, color colon. Use the color picker, select the white, and put a semicolon on the end. Press refresh, and that's much better. Okay, we'll add a bit of padding to the left, right, top, and bottom. That's really just to bring it away from the edges of the page, make it look a bit better. So I'm going to do some shorthand coding. We'll make the padding 10 pixels top and bottom, and 20 pixels left and right. And now the way shorthand works is it's just if I type into two amounts. So the first amount would be 10 pixels. Then that will do the top and bottom. If it's followed by another amount, which will be in this case the 20 pixels, that will be the left and the right. If I was to put 10 pixels in 4 times with spaces in between, then that will do the order it goes in is top, right, bottom, and then left. Okay, let's preview this in the browser and see what it looks like. I'm going to use Firefox. I'm going to save the changes and save the CSS as well, and I'm going to save it as scroll.html. Click save, save the CSS file, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, not bad, not bad. We still haven't added the scrolling effect yet, but the page is all set up how we want it to be, with the exception of the scrolling feature. Okay, so let's go back into Dreamweaver and we'll make that change. We're going to go into the body tag in the CSS rule, and we're going to add a small line of code, and that will be background-attachment, and we'll set it to fixed. Okay, so what that will do is make the background stand still, while the foreground, the blue background, that will scroll up and down the page, or at least it will give the illusion that that's happening. Yeah, so I hope you can pick up that effect. My screen capture software might not give it any justice, so if you download the files and check the web page, or if you're doing this tutorial yourself, you will see that it's completely smooth scrolling. Right, there's just one last thing I'd like to do to make the effect really take off, and that's to give a top and a bottom margin. So we'll bring the blue foreground away from the background from the top of the browser window. So I'll give it a margin top of 60 pixels. And we'll give it a margin bottom of 50 pixels, and we'll see how that looks in the browser now. Okay, so we'll preview that in the browser one last time, and it's looking pretty good. If you are watching this in YouTube, please rate, comment and subscribe, and thank you very much. I'll see you next time.